Okay, so the first thing I did to make this intro was I went to my text effects. I made a new project, went to my text effects and dragged this custom 3D tile into my timeline, and I just extended it to 10, 12 seconds, whatever it was, I'm not too sure, but drag it to whatever you want to do. And then we're going to go up to our inspector, we're going to go to our text tab, and we're going to change our text to what we want it to read. Then after we've done our text, we simply change our font, which is just below in the basic. And then after we've selected our font, then we go on and mess around with our 3D texts inspector. So let's have a look at that a little bit more closely. So as I mentioned, I'm going to go in and I am going to change my to my font to whatever I want it to do, whatever I want it to be, should I say? And I just chose something that was sort of spaced out a little bit, like there's a nice kerning between, nice gap between the texts. And then I went in and changed the depth on my 3D text, as you can see on my inspector, and I changed it up to about 50. Just so it gives a little bit more of a 3D feel. And then I went in and changed my bevel to this ridge because it just suited the text. So try and find something that sort of suits the text. And drag down, change material for this text and this bevel. I decided to go with a metal. And the metal I decided to go with was copper, and the reason I decided to go with copper is because it's got a nice basic default lighting and shadow effect on the side of the 3D texts, as you can see by the 3 on my text. And then I just drag the shininess up to around just over 54%. Okay, and now I'm going to go over to my effects generator. Highlight it, and I'm going to go into my search at the very bottom of my effects generator and type in radial or rad, and I will get this radial come up, and I'm just going to drag and drop that onto my timeline like so. Okay, so let's move on to the a little bit of a difficult bit, and this is keyframing our effect. Let's go into our video so we can see our actual radial effect. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure my timeline is at the start like so. And then I'm going to drag the amount up and click this little plus button, which is a keyframe. And then I'm going to move up to around a second in my timeline. But if you want to speed the effect or slow the effect, either shorten the length of time or lengthen the length of time, respectively, to what you want to do. Okay, then I'm going to drag my amount down to 0. I don't have to click keyframe because it will auto keyframe for me. That's highlighted in yellow. Drag the timeline up by about another second and drag the amount to an amount that I'm happy with, and this case being 29, 30%, whatever. Move the timeline again it will auto keyframe, and then drag the amount down, and then I'm just going to continue this motion up again another a second or so, dragging the amount up to my liking. Then again down the way, and like I said, it will auto keyframe, and just keep doing this for the duration of your 3D text effect. Okay, next I'm going to go into my transitions browser right over here. I'm going to go to my search, and I'm going to type in zoom in my search. And what I'm going to use is something called zoom and pan to finish the effect off. Obviously I drag it onto my timeline, it's quite big, so I'm just going to use the control anchor buttons, highlight it in yellow and drag it down. So now let's just play through our timeline and have a look what our intro is going to look like before we add a few more effects to it, or another effect to it. And it finishes off nicely with a zoom and pan. Okay, so we're back at the start of our timeline, drag our timeline like so, and I'm manually going to move through my timeline until my effect is back to 0. So when the effect looks back to normal, and then I'm going to highlight the effect, the 3D effect in my timeline, and press Command and B, and this will cut the effect or the 3D text down. And then I'm going to move manually along my timeline again until it's back to 0. Press Command B. So manually again till the effect is down at 0 or down low, and then press Command B. And all I've done is just broke up my text or my 3D text, custom 3D text, in random places. Okay, so now let's go over to our effects browser once again. I'm going to type in flashing or flash in the search, and I'm going to drag this flashing onto my first section of tile or 3D text effect or 3D text within my timeline. The second part I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to drag the flashing again onto the third part. Now you can break these down even further if you like, and that is really as simple as that. Try and match it to music if you've got music or bangs, and then just share it out with the little button at the end, Apple 1080p, if that is indeed your preference. So hope you enjoy this really easy intro. Have a good time. Catch you later.